Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, which means I actually go to trial. I'm a trial lawyer. I try criminal cases, and that's what I do. Today we're reacting to The Legend of Jeff, another JCS video. Really like the JCS videos. So I haven't watched this, so this is going to be an initial reaction. So we've had a lot of requests for this, and we'd like to honor those requests. If you're on Patreon, go ahead and we try to get to those first. So without further ado, here's The Legend of Jeff. So you can see right away he's in a hospital gown. It looks like he's in an interrogation room with handcuffs on and no shoes.
Am I under arrest?
For now.
I'm under arrest?
Yeah, I'll explain everything, but before I explain myself to you, before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay?
What am I under arrest for?
Immediately, if you're under arrest and you have in custody interrogation, they have to read you your Miranda warning. Meaning you have a right to a lawyer, that kind of thing.
For?
Well, like I said, I need to read your rights first. Obviously, the charge is robbery, okay? Yeah, I'll explain everything.
I'm under arrest for robbery?
You are, but let me read your rights real quick, okay? And then I'll explain it all to you. Is that okay? You let me do that real fast? All right, Jeff. Can you read with me? Just read in your head, okay? Before we ask you any questions, you must understand what your rights are. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Does that make sense? You probably...
So they fast forwarded there, but if he asks for a lawyer at this point, all questioning must cease.
Probably heard these before, haven't you? Does that make sense? Do you understand your rights? Do you understand your rights, Jeff? Yes or no? Do you understand? Do you understand what I read you? Do you comprehend what I read you?
So he's not saying anything so far.
Jeff, I'm just here to talk to you and figure out what happened and move you on out of here, at least some of it. So do you understand the rights I read to you?
If you got something that says you didn't do this robbery, this is your chance to talk to us.
Okay, good cop.
No, usually I'm the prick.
Usually I'm the prick. I somehow believe that guy.
You look like the prick.
This is Jeff. Jeff is a heroin addict and has been for the last 14 years. He is 6'5", weighs 153 pounds, and has now found himself in the unfortunate circumstance of being charged with armed robbery. This is in the state of Georgia, so if found guilty, they will render him the minimum term of 10 years without parole, up to the maximum term of life in prison. Jeff has been through the system multiple times over, and he will know that if indeed found guilty, his sentence will be considerably longer than the minimum 10 years due to his previous convictions.
I can't tell you how many cases we get where people are get involved in very serious criminal activity from drugs, and it just totally related to drugs.
Jeff, do you understand your rights? Yes or no? I'm not asking if you want to talk to me at this point. I just want to know, do you understand what I read to you?
So am I under arrest?
Yes, you're under arrest.
Get me back to the cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers.
Okay, fair enough.
You want a Coke?
So he just declined to talk to them. Essentially, he invoked his right to remain silent. I don't talk to you motherfuckers. So they should bring him to his cell. But once he invokes his rights, they can't then reinitiate interrogation. But he's been sitting there for 2.5 hours. And so this would look at as reinitiating interrogation. And I would think it would be unconstitutional.
Yeah. You gonna be able to pop it open, or you need me to?
Jeff has become somewhat of a cult figure in the domain of interrogation footage. His recognition seems to have grown through his own popularity, as opposed to the notoriety of his crimes, like most others. Conveying the exact reasoning behind this can be tricky, as the interest in this character will no doubt vary by the individual. Yet we've found the most collective reason can be explained through a single pop culture reference: the anti-hero. While the concept is timeless, the actual term was created through the realm of modern cinema. There's a diverse number of characters passing through the decades that fit the criteria. Yet perhaps the most textbook example could be the protagonist from the 2003 feature Bad Santa, a middle-aged man simply known as Willie. This is a character that lies, cheats, steals, swears at children, drinks an inconceivable amount of alcohol, and is generally extremely unpleasant to every single person he comes across.
Look who's here, Jimmy. It's Santa.
Oh, fucking right.
Let's tell what you want.
Fucking great.
I'm on my fucking lunch break, okay?
On paper, this is an extremely unlikable individual, yet for some
do like
reason,
this
we
movie,
root for him while following his story. Anti-heroes are flawed, as are we. Their moral complexity mirrors our own, and just like us, they are learning and growing as they move along the path of life. Their mistakes make us think of our mistakes, and perhaps the reason we root for their redemption is the reflection of ourselves rooting for our own. So you might be curious about the contrast between the anti-hero and the villain. One we embrace and relate to, while the other we despise and detach from. Both are driven by selfish motivations, yet our emotional response differs between them. The reason for this, while not necessarily obvious, is a relatively simple formula. The anti-hero must have a glimmer of humanity, alongside a noticeable vulnerability. This is what allows the viewer to truly connect with the character. It allows us to forgive them when they are unethical, but admire them when they are noble. It allows them to be angry, cowardly, and greedy, but also cheerful, brave, and empathetic.
You know, to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I think makes me a good lawyer, is that I can kind of see part of myself in my clients, and by doing that, I can empathize with their situation, and it makes me try harder, I suppose. Some you can see yourself in more than others.
Who the fuck is Thurman? Is that you? Is your name Thurman?
Yeah,
Thurman Merman?
yeah.
Jesus.
With relation to Jeff, while many of us can't relate to the feeling of being addicted to heroin for well over a decade, we can certainly understand the feeling of sadness. While we may not be able to put ourselves directly in the shoes of an addict, we can somewhat relate to the adversity that comes with it, not to mention the incredible magnitude of the situation he is going through in this video.
Now, being locked in a room for 2.5 hours, ostensibly without anything to drink, and probably without going to the bathroom, all of a sudden you're much more vulnerable than when you walked into that room.
How he responds to this very moment is quite literally the precursor to his entire future. He is at a crossroad moment in life, where on one side is the possibility of hope, and on the other side is the outright guarantee of despair. The long-term path he goes down will be the consequences of the short-term choices he makes, all of which have to be judged and decided on while going through the early stages of heroin withdrawal.
I need method.
And heroin withdrawal in prison is fucking awful. And they don't give you anything for it. It can be, sometimes it can be fatal, but not very often. It's just really, 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 you get sick really bad, and it's not fun.
No.
You need methadone?
Yeah, you get me.
And mind you, he already told you, I don't want to talk to you. Now they've reinitiated with the coke.
Methadone?
Yeah, you get me that methadone.
I don't have any. Do you have medication for it, or a prescription for it?
So the fact that he's asking for methadone tells you he's very vulnerable.
What do you need methadone for?
Cause I'm a fucking junkie, and you guys, I can't get no methadone. I'm gonna go through withdrawal here in a minute.
Where do you usually get your methadone from?
I don't
He told him I didn't want to talk to you, and now they're talking to him.
I get heroin.
How long you been using heroin?
Long time, buddy. What are you trying to talk to me about here?
Talk to you about what happened last night. Look, here's the deal. Either you're in a bad set of circumstances, or you went and committed an armed robbery last night.
Yeah,
Alright?
I'm in a shitty, wrong place at wrong time, obviously. I didn't commit no fucking armed robbery.
All right, then let's talk about this. Let's
I
not
don't have
keep
nothing.
up
I
the
don't talk
act.
to the police, man.
I don't talk to the police, man. This is the second time he's invoked his right.
I think it's in your best interest to. Man.
How? I don't talk to the
sitting
police.
Here, okay.
I've been through the system, buddy. I know how
I know
it
you
works.
have. I know you have.
You're
Jeff.
not my friend.
I'm not your friend.
You're trying to fucking get me. Or you're
No,
trying
I'm not trying to get
all
you.
you're trying to get is some fucking stupid ass fucking confession, and you're not going to get one.
Jeff, I'm not going to get a confession out of you for nothing.
Exactly, because I
And
didn't
I'm
do
not trying to
nothing.
get a confession out of you.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I didn't commit no armed robbery, and y'all ain't got no fucking evidence saying I did. Let me go. All you did is find me sitting in my buddy's house because my fucking buddy's dog's going ape shit. I go outside, there are cops everywhere, and they spotlight me. They say, come here. I say, what's up? They search me. They ain't find
Hang on.
nothing. What's
Let
up?
me read this.
No,
Yes.
because I'm not going to sign it.
You don't have to sign it. But let me read it for you. Okay?
I'm not signing nothing.
You don't have to sign it. Let me read it.
You already read it to me earlier.
I know we did, but I'm going to read it to you again.
That's reinitiating interrogation when he has said, I don't want to talk to you. If this is an inculpatory statement, it should be thrown out hands down.
Thanks for the code.
You're welcome. Before we ask any questions, you must understand what your rights are.
And here we have our glimmer of humanity. Jeff extends his gratitude in recognition of the small favor the detective has done for him. There is no return benefit for Jeff giving thanks to his adversary, meaning there is an element of selflessness and grace in the act. There may be considerable emphasis on the glimmer of humanity here, but all we need is a glimmer to know that it's at least in there.
You have the right to remain silent. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one, a lawyer will be provided for you.
Here's the thing. You can't cure the reinterrogation aspect of this by rereading the Miranda rights.
If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right. You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand the rights I've explained to you?
He's dehydrated. He's going through withdrawal. The guy brings him a Coke. And guess what? Oh, if you talk to us, we'll bring you a fucking meal. I mean, that's kind of... I've seen this happen before.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happened last night. Plain and simple. Your side of the story.
I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you. It should end right there. I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer. You get stopped by the cops. I don't care where the fuck you are. I want a lawyer. You don't talk to the cops. Period. First time anybody hears your story, if you're charged with a crime, should be on the stand.
All right. This is what I don't understand. I know, but this is what I don't understand, Jeff.
This is what I don't understand. No. Get up and fucking walk away. He should not be talking at all. This is more reinitiated. I want a lawyer. It's a hard rule. It should be just done.
We're sitting there talking just like you were ready to sit here and tell me what happened last night, and then all of a sudden I read that to you and you just, screw it, I ain't talking to you. I want a lawyer. I don't understand that. What changed?
I don't understand that. I'm a fucking cop. I don't understand that. Fuck you. Get out of my fucking face. I wanted a lawyer. It should be done. He cannot. This is textbook. 100%. And if he could say I shot the queen, and they'd have to throw it out.
Because I told you what. I already told you what happened.
You didn't.
How didn't I?
You didn't tell me what happened last night.
How didn't I just tell you what?
But now you've handcuffed me, and I can't talk to you because you've asked for an attorney.
He even knows what the law is, but he's still continuing to try to fucking talk to him.
So okay, that's fine. But I will tell you right now, you're still on a hold for robbery.
I know. I don't know why I need a fucking lawyer because obviously I didn't do nothing, and obviously you guys know I didn't do nothing because I've been arrested for the same bullshit before, and you guys don't interview me this much. So, wham bam, thank you for the coke. Put me back in the cell.
5 hours later.
What's that?
Just want to. All right. I know we did this twice, but I got to do it again.
What the hell is he doing? He's reinitiating interrogation for the third time.
Again, every time, okay? If I ask you any questions, I got to read your rights. You understand that? Okay. You want to sign there? Let me take your F off.
Now he's in here 5.5 hours later. 5.5 hours. A heroin addict, and Bullshit.
Look, I'm not signing nothing. I don't want to
Okay,
sign
you don't have to sign anything. You understand your rights, though, right?
Yeah.
That's all I need is a verbal yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now he's being a nice guy. Oh, I'm gonna take the cuffs off. Oh,
What's his coat gonna be here? Or is that just a fairy tale?
It's coming. He's getting there right now. We'll get here in about 2 minutes. Just to watch the soda machine. It tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
see, now he's sitting in there, and he's basically waiting for some kind of spontaneous utterance. So, in other words, he's trying to. If Jeff says something, he says, "Well, you know, I just was sitting there watching the prisoner, and all of a sudden he made this statement voluntarily to me, so that reinitiated, you know, the conversation. But he started the conversation. Bullshit. You're supposed to just leave."
I have enough evidence
Like what?
of the armed robbery. Okay.
If you have enough evidence, what the fuck are you doing there talking to me anyway?
But, you know, if you're saying you didn't do it, you need to give me your side of the story.
I didn't do it.
Okay, well, give me your side of the story. You got to, convince me.
This is totally 100% illegal. Totally illegal.
Because I got a lot of evidence. I got a lot of physical evidence.
If you have so much physical evidence, you have so much evidence that, what do you give a shit what he has to say for then?
Well, like what? Name the physical.
Well, why should I tell you that? I mean, you haven't been helpful to me at all.
You don't, because I don't believe that you got any evidence.
And you can tell he's uncomfortable. You can tell he's withdrawing. I mean, we're 7 hours into this. This is ridiculous.
There's only a couple pieces of evidence I'm missing.
Name them.
What's that?
Name them.
Well, why do I need to do that? You haven't helped me out at all. You give me a little bit, I give you a little bit. We go back and forth.
Total illegal.
I give you one of my pieces of evidence, and I give me a little something.
You know, anything I say here can and will be used against me.
Sure, but anything you say here, I can also tell your parole officer that you helped me out.
That doesn't mean dick. There's
It
no
doesn't
way.
mean dick.
I didn't do it. There's no way.
How drunk were you? Were you drunk?
No, I was pretty sober.
So you're in your right mind. You remember everything about the night, right? So you couldn't have done something not remembered. You couldn't have gone and robbed the place and not remembered?
Fuck, no.
Okay, so you would remember if you robbed the place. Yeah. So I'm willing to go to the prosecutor, I'm willing to go to the parole officer and say, this guy's a good guy, he helped me out.
Hey.
I know you don't want to go back to jail, right? Back to prison.
Well, fuck. It looks like I am if and you're going to charge me with some bogus shit. You guys don't, I mean, what do you got, really? That I was at a buddy's house and I happened to come outside because you guys were fucking swarming the area and they
Which door did you come out of?
I came out of the front door. You know what? I'm not saying myself, man. I'm done, man. Fuck this. The only reason I came up here is to get a fucking Coke.
Okay. You're not getting out.
Oh, no. I can't finish it?
You can finish it. Make it quick. I got things to do.
Butterfinger, you promise.
I didn't promise you that. I said we'd see what happens. All right? Like I said, you haven't helped me out at all.
Where's that Butterfinger? You see, I had a case one time where my client had been strung out for days on meth and whatever. And same kind of situation. And they promised him Kentucky Fried Chicken because he hadn't eaten in quite a while. And but they wouldn't give him the Kentucky Fried Chicken until he gave a statement. Well, I got the statement thrown out because the Kentucky Fried Chicken was basically coercion.
Why should I help you out? I got you a soda. That's good enough.
Jeff was released from custody just under 12 hours later, and that takes us to the final and perhaps the most important component of an anti-hero, the conclusion, which unfortunately in this particular case is unknown. The final outcome of this story will vary depending on the source, some with a happy ending, others a cautionary tale. One legend has it that Jeff got clean soon after his release and now works in the corporate marketing team for Coca-Cola, while another states that he was picked up the day after for the same charge and is now facing down a 15-year sentence in Georgia State Prison. If we go by the Hollywood formula, an anti-hero's actions throughout the course of their life are so drastic and single-minded that they only ever lead to salvation or destruction, and their final decision is always dictated by what they have learned and how they have changed throughout the course of the story. The paradox here is that we don't even need the theme of imprisonment to mold the outcome of this particular story, as the theme of addiction is more than enough. Whether he goes to prison or not, Jeff will either manage to get clean and rebuild his life, or he won't. He is headed for salvation or destruction no matter what, and that single concept can perhaps define Jeff as an anti-hero. His outcome is a mystery, but either way it goes, it most certainly conforms to the anti-hero's ending.
You know, that's a good point, but I don't think it always ends that way. It always ends in either absolution or destruction. I've seen, first of all, Jeff has been using heroin for fucking 14 years, however long, a long time. And so he's been able to function in that realm. Sometimes, and usually when it's something dramatic, an addict or somebody who's into serious drugs, their life will change because of some significant event. For example, I had a case recently where my client gave his cousin, his best friend, some fentanyl. And he died. And he was just devastated over it. And they charged him with third-degree murder. And I got him into treatment, and he wound up getting, sober and didn't go to prison as a result. In looking at Jeff, I doubt that he's a senior VP for Coca-Cola. But sometimes law enforcement involvement can actually be an impetus for change. I like when that happens because it gets somebody off of drugs, it gets somebody off the street, and sometimes it takes a wake-up call for that to happen. And I took something completely different away from this than I think was intended by JCS. I looked at it more from a criminal law standpoint, and he didn't say anything really inculpatory in his interrogation, but it just pisses me off when I see these cops flagrantly violating the law, and which is what that cop did there many times. So this has been our reaction to The Legend of Jeff from JCS. So I implore you to go over to JCS's channel and see if you can pick that up and give him a little love as well, because we like his commentary, and I think he does a good job presenting these topics in criminal law. So I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Thanks for all the love and support that you've given us over the past year, and especially over the past month. And follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, spread the message. And if you're thinking about it, sign up for Patreon. We're doing some pretty good work there. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.